Music is lovely. Now we're going to mute it. Welcome in, everybody. Let's do a mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear everybody else too?
Hi.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Testing.
Hello.
Hello,
Testing.
hello.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. We are already in August, and I cannot believe it. It has been absolutely insane. So, thank you, everyone, for being here today. We are chatting with Pause Your Game. I'm so excited. And we have our amazing creator that is in our community, Aaron. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure you all know me, but of course I have to introduce myself still because you probably don't know me. I am Ashley. I am Tiltify's community manager. I do all the fun things, live events, community spotlights, and I love my job. So we are going to throw the round of introductions to everybody around the table. Aaron, we would love to learn a little bit about you and your content creation journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me as a part of this. I'm so honored. So,
Yes.
my name is Erin. If you didn't gather that from the quick intro, the EBX in my name actually stands for Elsie Banks. It is my original rock pop alt band. I am located near Detroit in Michigan in the States. My community on Twitch is super, super heavy into mental health. We really, really do a lot of mental health checks and even sometimes physical health checks. A lot of my channel has to do with awareness. I have an autoimmune disease called endometriosis. So they know that I call myself a spoonie. The whole autoimmune disease community might know about this already. This is not anything new, but we focus on making sure that we're taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves. And we even have spoon checks on my channel. So I have this little spoon counter we literally check in with, they check in with me through the stream. And so that's pretty cool. It kind of keeps everybody aware, you know, to check in on yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. We talk a lot about the LGBTQIA2 plus community because I myself am in a committed relationship with my partner Trish, who is also she, her. And so we talk a lot about that. We talk a lot about the fact that all people are welcome in any spectrum of any of those things on my channel. And so those are the biggest type of things that you will find in our community, like in our Discord, stuff like that. But mostly what you'll find on my channel is music. We sometimes chat a lot. We chat a lot, but music is the forefront, covers and original music. I'm a looper and I play keys, I play flute, I sing. So I kind of try to dabble in a little bit of everything. Um, but yeah, that's the main gist of my channel. I love playing my original music on stream, and it's my favorite thing so far has been finding that people would rather hear original music on stream than cover music, which is not how musicians have experienced life outside of Twitch. So that's a little bit about me and my channel.
Wow. Music. I did not know you did music. That is so
Yeah.
fun. Oh my gosh. I'm so intrigued.
I
It's
Everyone
good
to be
really
too.
good.
fair so to be fair, I
what
started
exactly?
off as a game streamer. I When the pandemic hit, my band and I actually started streaming on Twitch. And then when lockdowns happened and we were all separated into our individual homes, that's when I was like, well, I've always wanted to play horror games. That's like one of my loves is horror TV, horror films, horror games. So actually started streaming games. And then when I realized that there's this whole giant music community on Twitch, I was like, oh, maybe I should do this. so so yeah, I've done a little bit of both, but music is primarily what I stream now.
Wow. Ooh, I can't wait to tune in. And we also do have our Control Plus extension. You all can follow Erin right now with that extension. Just click that follow button and get to check out her music. That's so
Oh, thanks.
awesome. Oh my gosh. And I can't wait to hear about how you fundraise and while doing music and how you integrate that. I can't wait to hear about that more later. All right. And Emma, you are
Hey.
next, my darling. And just so you know, all know, Emma just started at Pause Your Game. So congratulations on your
Thank
position.
you.
Can't wait to learn a little bit about you and your role at Pause Your Game.
I am the director of external affairs. I'm one of three directors that we have so far. My role is I work very closely with our director of community management to help with building our stream team ambassadors, as well as I do a lot of outreach to both charities that we want to work with and help, as well as with brands that we want to make connections with and make connections for our stream team ambassadors to help boost them up so that they can fundraise even better.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the stream team,
The
and your
stream team.
plans for it?
Yes,
Yeah.
so the
Just real
stream
quick.
team and Beta will definitely tack on to this, but the stream team, we just like relaunched it in a sense. And we have applications open 24/7, 365. But we review them on a monthly basis. Um, Anyone that is a streamer, we encourage them to apply. And even if you aren't accepted into the ambassadors, you can still totally fundraise for us in our community Discord and everything. We make sure to have inclusive programs and fundraising through Tiltify on both of our Discords for our stream team ambassadors and our community. And we're working on getting, like I said, some of those brand connections to help them do some unique content, some animal based content. We look at what charities and shelters they are interested and passionate about. Like I know we have one member who's really passionate about birds. So we've been talking about how we can look into going and doing a fundraiser for a bird rescue and stuff. And then Beta, I definitely want you to tack on here to a little bit more of what we're doing with the ambassadors.
So right now, with the new launch of it, we're really trying to focus on making a community. We don't want to just have a stream team that you don't know your members, you don't know who else is in it. We're trying to really build something where we can actually help each other grow as well. We're trying to, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. We're trying to come up with some courses that are helping with coaching as well, because doing a charity fundraiser isn't necessarily the easiest thing for a streamer, especially if they're a first time fundraiser. And I think we've had a couple people that were first time fundraisers for us, so we are in the process right now of developing more programs to kind of assist them in that.
Ooh, that's so exciting. Okay, thank you so much for, touching base on that. I'm sure some people are getting excited in chat. So if you all want to apply, you could do exclamation app in chat and it'll direct you directly to the link so you can apply. And, thank you again for touching on that. We'll touch more base on it later, I'm sure. So thank you. Thank you. And we're still doing our round of introductions. Josh, hey, Josh. Let's learn a little bit about you, your story, and your role at Paws Your Game.
So I am the founder of Pause Your Game. I'm also the president, and I guess I'll go into the origin of what happened and how it all came about. So, into trigger warning. First off, pet loss, suicide, um, regular loss. Yeah. So anyway, in 2013, I had lost my grandma, and she was my best friend in the world. And my life at that time wasn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. So I was looking for a healthy distraction, and a friend messaged me and said, "Why don't you adopt a dog?" And I didn't really know anything about animal rescue at all, completely ignorant about it. And she sent me a picture of a miniature schnauzer that looked really sad, and I inquired about her. And a month later, I adopted her, and that was my Sophie. And fast forward a little bit. Um, in 2017, my life kind of became hectic again. Um, I suffered from manic depression, general anxiety disorder, and a couple other fun filled disorders as well. And the tipping point in my life was when I had to put Sophie to sleep unexpectedly. And I just got out of a relationship. I just moved out of where I was living. My business failed. So it was essentially a horrible country western song at that point. And I, at the time, when you suffer from mental illness, the guilt and the voices in your head kind of take over. And so, the repeat cycle was basically, you've done nothing for the world. You're a loser. Uh, you're pathetic. And if you were gone, the world would be a better place. So I texted one of my friends who I actually met on World of Warcraft probably 10 years prior. And I set him and his wife up, and they have two beautiful kids now. And I texted him and said, I need you to do me a favor. When you tell your kids about how you and your wife met, just leave me out of the story. I don't want them knowing how much of a loser I was. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm going to go see Sophie now. And, that's that. And he immediately called my family, and my family found me. And I ended up in a psych ward a couple days later for 10 days. And when I got out of the psych ward, I really didn't want to live. I had no intention of staying here in present time. And I messaged my other friend who has been in and out of hospitals his entire life, and I actually saved him a couple times from his suicide attempts and got him help. And I said, I don't know what to do. And he said, I'm going to tell you the same thing that you told me when my dog passed and I was at the point. You can't go anywhere because Sophie wouldn't want you to, and she'd want you to stay here and save as many animals as you can. So you have to get better. And so I went to residential treatment for 2 months. And the first day of residential treatment, I walked into where they hold um, group therapy, and there just happened to be an urn in the corner with a picture of a dog. And as far as exposure therapy goes, that was super fun to deal with. Um, However, the breaking point was when I walked up and it said, in loving memory of Sophie. And I turned to my therapist, and in not so friendly words, I said, is this some kind of sick joke? And it wasn't. It just happened to be, that dog happened to be a therapy dog that was named Sophie, and she passed a couple months before. And yeah, that's kind of where the journey began at that point. And that's when I came up with Pause Your Game when I was in therapy and treatment, because they talked a lot about what your purpose is and what to do after you got out of treatment. And so that's when I decided to go into animal rescue, and Pause Your Game was born. So
Okay. Gotta give me a second.
You hit Ash with
Yes,
everything all at once.
Yeah.
I was
Jason
like,
came up right at the sad part and like came and started on rubbing on me.
they always know when they need to give you
They do.
cuddles.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. I'm emotional, so
That's fine.
God knows this. I'm very emotional, and I think I did very well not shedding. So, but I feel them coming. I am so happy that we still have you, Josh.
Thank you.
Oh no, I'm gonna cry. Okay, I just met you. Oh my gosh, I love you. No, wow, your story is incredible. Oh no, I just
It
didn't make
was yeah, it wasn't fun. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I,
Treatment
I
was
can't
definitely
imagine.
it was an eye-opening experience. I didn't actually tell any of my friends that I was actually going into treatment or anything like that. Most of them didn't even know that I attempted. So you know, I try to keep a private life at that point, but I know that my story is powerful and impactful, and if it helps somebody, then awesome. So
Um, yeah, just wow, your story is powerful. And again, so happy to have you here because you're making a huge difference in this world. And I hope you know that. And you always know that. And you have an incredible team behind you, Emma, everyone, Beta, everyone behind you to support your mission. And that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
thank you.
Um, yeah. Wow. You started us off just tearing up and crying. I love it. But no,
Yeah,
really, thank you, gosh, thank you, thank you.
you're welcome.
Beta,
Hi. I got to
hey.
follow up after that.
Let's talk a little bit about your role at Podger Game and a little bit about your background.
So I am the chief executive officer of Paws Your Game. My background is in 2019, I started streaming. I knew I wanted to get into charity streaming. I didn't know about Tiltify. I didn't really know how to do it. And the funny thing was, prior to this, I worked at New York City's animal care centers, and it's one of the largest open admission shelters in the country. And what I did there was I helped create a program that took specifically underage and underweight kittens because by law in New York State, they cannot be adopted. And if they can't be adopted, that puts them at subject to being euthanized. So what I did was pair up with the ASPCA. They created a kitten nursery, and every year we were having about 8,000 kittens getting rescued, not having to be euthanized. So it was a really big thing. And I worked with about 300 rescues in the tri-state area. And it's funny because I wanted to, once I did discover Tiltify, I'm like trying to talk to them about like, hey, if you sign up on here, I can raise money for you. And it's interesting how smaller rescues that maybe aren't as tech savvy, they're not so like great at setting up things like that. And then I discovered Pause Your Game, and that was one of the big initiatives that they had. And so Josh and I ended up teaming up on a couple different projects. And then when this year happened, he knew that he wanted to take it to like the next level and actually have like a full team. And I came up with a business plan, and I wrote out programs, and ended up taking over the CEO position.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh, the kitties.
Yes,
Kitties,
lots of kittens.
kitties. Speaking of kitties, Emma, do you have a kitty over there?
I do. This is Grayson.
Hi, Grayson.
I
So
am a dog
cute.
person by heart. I actually study this is a long-winded thing, comparative psychology with a focus in canine cognition research. In other words, the brain and behavior and psychology of animals with a focus on the doggo floofs. But I had a dog, Toby, she is seen in all of my channel artwork on Twitch. She is kind of what inspired me to go into animals, and she is in a somewhat opposite of Josh's story. She's the reason I am still here. She's the reason I kept going. And when she passed about a year and a half now ago, um, this little guy, I had moved fairly recently, and he was in the rain outside my kitchen window, and he just wanted love, and he adopted me. I call him my little porch cat, and I work with the other feral cats in the area to try to get them spayed and neutered and make sure they're taken care of. And yeah, so that's Grayson.
Wow, nice to meet you, Grayson. You're so
He is
cute.
the cutest.
Speaking of dogs, mine's trying to break into my gate. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Continue.
There's always
Thank
animal
you
chaos
for
here.
Yeah, thank you for sharing a little bit about your story, Beta, and your role at Pause Your Game. And we're talking about Pause Your Game. Let's talk a little bit more about it. What is Pause Your Game? And we
Josh?
can to
Yeah.
Josh. Yeah.
So we are a 501c3 animal advocacy group, and really our goal and mission is to help raise funds and other resources for both municipal, which are public shelters, and private shelters and rescues, as well as wildlife sanctuaries. So,
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And, you know, I wanted to learn a little bit more about, the history of Pause Your Game and like any events that happened throughout all this time that Pause Your Game has been up and running.
yeah, I mean, we did a couple events last year. That was really our first major push when COVID happened. We were planning on doing a lot of in-person events, but you know, things didn't quite turn out that way. So we did a bunch of online events, super fun. We did a spay and neuter event earlier this year for three of our rescues, um, fully funded on that. We also helped raise money for a foster that I had who was a hospice foster named Gina. She is no longer with us, unfortunately. She lost her life last month. Um, and we helped raise funding for her rescue, which is actually only run by two people, but they specialize in pulling at-risk dogs from public shelters that are on the euthanasia list, essentially. And Gina had a tumor that was a little bit larger than a football, and they were going to put her down, and the rescue pulled her and got her all the medical attention that she needed. And she was a very expensive dog, but they saved her life, and she didn't die in a cage. She, I guess, passed on my couch, if
And got a
so to speak.
puppuccino.
So yeah, she got her first puppuccino. I
Oh,
definitely spoiled her rotten, and yeah. So we try to do a lot with underfunded rescues and shelters because they kind of need the most help, but so do public shelters and other wildlife facilities. So
wow. Gina lived a good life. That's what it seems like. And that's
yeah,
really sweet. Oh,
she she
loss.
was in medical boarding for 7 weeks before I took the initiative to foster her. She had two other people um, step up that said they would, and they vanished, which happens a lot, unfortunately. And I was fostering another dog for this particular rescue, and they saw um, how much I cared for Bonnie was her name, and I got Bonnie adopted. I think in 2 weeks. Bonnie was overbred. Um, was terrified of everything, didn't even know how to go upstairs. So my dog Charlie, she kind of taught her how to be a dog. And yeah, the family who adopted her, I know personally, and she's just spoiled rotten now, completely. They bought her clothing. She has her own bed. She's it's yeah. So it's a good feeling. So
That is so sweet. Thank you for sharing a little bit about that and those events. And I can't wait for the, more events that you have planned, especially with the stream team and everything. That's awesome. I wanted to throw it to our creator, Aaron. I want to talk a little bit more why you fundraise for Pause Your Game.
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of goes back a little ways if you bear with me. So I've been doing fundraisers not on Twitch in real life for over a decade. I was actually in a corporate wedding band for a really really long time, and so one of our biggest types of events that we did was these giant charity events. And so I hadn't really thought about it. So I'm gonna dox my age for a second. I was hired into this band when I was 21. So I didn't really know much of anything at all. And so when I started to see these types of events in real life happening and just how much money people wanted to throw at these causes, no matter what the cause was, we'd be at these big events, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like the amount of charity that people just want to do and they just want to give just kind of changed my whole perspective in that. And so when I started my band LC Binks in 2015, a big part of well, our co-founder Kevin Wesley Williams actually works for a local shelter here in the Detroit area called A Rejoiceful Rescue, and we've done multiple like IRL charity events since we created that band. And so charity has been a part of my entire adult life. And so when I started streaming in March of 2020, it was kind of like the next logical step. Like, okay, learn how to stream, make sure you don't suck at it, make sure you're building an audience, and make sure you're giving a voice to people or animals or interests even that don't have a voice. because I again, like, I'm gonna consider our 20s, we're still growing up, right? Like, I grew up watching these giant charity events, like, oh my gosh, like, if you can build the audience, then you can build the empire for your charity, whatever the charity is. And so that inspired me hugely to then kind of take a look, and I started to see these charity stream teams. And again, I didn't start streaming till March 2020. So forgive my noobness, but like I didn't know. I saw other creators doing charity events and I'm like, what is this? I don't, okay, like this is like the gears started turning like, oh, this is how I apply my real life experience to Twitch. And so I streamed the whole rest of 2020. I didn't join any charity events because or
Mhm.
charity stream teams because, like, I didn't wanna I didn't wanna be the noobest noob, if you know what I mean. So, I waited, and in October, I met Areza Beta. We, rated her because we were streaming Dead by Daylight, and so was she, so we rated her, and I didn't know this person, and we quickly got to know her, and she became one of mine and Trish's best friends, like, we literally talk every day, and we quickly kind of assimilated into her community, and so in late January, when Pause Your Games applications open, she was like, "Hey, like, I think you should take a look at this, and I think you should apply if it's a good fit." And so that's what I did, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense for me." And so, moving into this year, as a music streamer, you have a lot of ways you can raise money because you can do a whole lot of stupid stuff on stream. As incentives, it is so much fun. I have done game streams as well, as charity events. That's actually how I started doing charity events because I
Yeah.
felt like it would be a good way to kinda ramp up as opposed to going all in on music charity events. So we did things like I was playing Dead by Daylight or Devour or something like that, because horror is life. And Trish was like putting temporary tattoos all over my chest and my arms. Like every donation was like a temporary tattoo. I was covered, like it was crazy. And so fun stuff like that. And we raised like in my first Pause Your Game event beta. I don't remember how much we raised, but I think we both hit our goals
I think you went up. You always go above and beyond your goal.
because my community
No,
turned it out.
she it's not, but it's not just her community. She is very, very good at fundraising.
I think of
So I
very
can't
silly
remember.
incentives.
I feel like we did like 250 each because we
I
were
think
nervous.
I think you're right. I was like, "Is 250 too much? Oh,
Yeah.
no." Like, I don't know what to do, like, because every community is different. 250 might
Yeah.
be too much for one person, but for the other person, it might be you needed to go to 1,000. And so for that first event, I think Beta's right. I think it was around 250. I think I almost doubled my goal, and I was, like, sobbing, and, like, I couldn't control my emotions the next day. The emotional hangover was real, real.
Oh,
And then I was covered in tattoos
yeah.
at the same time, so I didn't know what to do.
But she
Um,
literally just fundraised for us. Was it last week
a couple weeks ago,
or
yeah,
a
it
couple
was the
weeks
A
ago?
week
last
and
it
a
was
half?
Week and a half.
yeah. What is
But
time?
like she made
Time
a
is a flat
goal of
circle.
500, but there was
Yeah.
one bonus thing if it got to 1,000, and that made it go to 1,000.
Yeah, so
Crushed
so
it.
so I'm the main, performer on the channel, but my like I
Mhm.
mentioned, my partner Trish is my co-host, and she literally has a spot at this desk, and she has a microphone, and she is the main moderator, but she also has a mic. She's a part of the conversation, she's a part of the community. We have her art displayed in the background, like, she's a visual artist, and she does Dead by Daylight, fan art, and so she doesn't appear on the mic I mean, on the camera. And if she does, it's like because our cat got picked up and she's holding the cat in the frame or something. Like it's like the running gag that she's just hands, like her hand will pop in from this side of the screen. So she said that if we doubled our goal and we raised money for the 7 kittens that y'all rescued. And I kept showing the kittens on screen too. And every time that was also something that really helped. Tips for for charity streams have pictures of the cats because people were like, oh, I have to donate to those kittens. So she said if we doubled the goal, which was $500, she would get on screen and sing a song, and she
Oh.
did. and she killed it, and everybody was like, "Oh, what? Like, what? I can't believe it." And so the moment that she put that into the universe, people just started throwing money at the cats. That's it.
Oh.
So she kinda uses herself as a martyr in a way, a martyr for charity. Um, but I do all sorts of ridiculous stuff. I'll loop with, like, random kazoo solos. I have a trombone kazoo. I have an automaton. Like, I do the most to be silly, but at the end of the day, it's all about raising the money. Whatever I have to do to raise the money, I will pretty much do, short of eating hot things. I don't play that.
Ooh, don't recommend. I don't
No,
recommend.
do not recommend.
I've had my fair share of spicy. Nope.
No.
Nope, no more. I wanna learn more about, like, what incentives you create with music and everything. I know you just showed us a few that you do. Can you give us more insight on your incentives that you make?
Yeah. So I also, for a very special event that I actually did in June, I don't really play guitar. I pretend to play guitar, but if you donated a certain amount, I added guitar to the loop, for better or for worse. I also have a small list of songs I think I can play blindfolded, and I've done that a couple times. Sometimes it goes well, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what else. My brain just totally left its body. It's gone. Other than that, I will do loops and stuff. I will add like dumb sound effects into the loops. It's just kind of ridiculous stuff like that. And then the last pause your game one, I actually did a lot of like physical ones, and unfortunately I don't have it was called Meowie Wowie, and so it was tropical, and all of the branding was tropical, and so I bought this giant bag of Lay's, not potato chips, the tropical necklaces, and I was like, "Every time somebody donates, I'll put on a Lay," and so I couldn't believe it, but I needed more than what the bag was, and I swear this bag was the biggest bag of Lay's I've ever, and it ended up, I wish I had a screenshot of it, but it ended up, like, smothering me. I couldn't even reach my mic after a while. It was so stupid. It was so stupid, but it worked perfectly. So sometimes I'll do physical stuff like that. I had a whole set of, like, tropical sunglasses that if you donated a certain amount, you could choose my sunglasses. There were, like, sharks and martini glasses and I don't know, little palm trees and flamingos, all sorts, all sorts. So I try to keep it on brand and on with the theme. I absolutely love I Beta, I don't know who came up with the theme, but I adore it. I don't know who it was. Was it you?
Yeah, I came up with the summer luau theme, and
Okay.
then Amber, our
I think
director
Kimmy
of
came up with the
design,
pun.
yeah, Kimmy came up with
Kimmy came up with
Meowie
the
Wowie,
pun.
and then
Then I think I did a low paw, and then Amber did the
I wanted a like 1960s greeting card from like
Yes.
Hawaii, and then Amber created it, and it was it was very cute.
It was
so
I'm proud
cute.
of that event.
That was
You
such a
should
good
be.
event.
The branding was on point and it helped us create, I think a lot of us on the stream team who are ambassadors for PYG kind of took that theme and ran with it. A lot of us did really ridiculous like tropical, like Maui Wowie, Meowie Wowie, pardon me, type incentives, and it was just a lot of fun. It's stupid, but it's a lot of fun.
That is so cool, and I love hearing how creators get creative with their incentives. Like, I've never seen that before, having incentives for adding lays to your body. That I love that. I love that, and if you have clips of that, I need to see it.
I probably do somewhere,
I'm sure
yes.
there's some.
Okay, we will talk about that later because I need clips, okay? That is so cool and cute. I love it. I love it, I love it. All
Thanks.
right. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your incentives and how you operate your fundraising streams with music, and then sometimes you do gaming. That's cool. You are talented all around. You should
Oh, thank you.
you should definitely just pat yourself in the back like, "I got
Okay.
this." Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about the programs that Pause Your Game has. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have the Foster to Win program and a Pledge program. Can we get a little bit more insight about that from
Yeah,
these people?
so when we were looking at how we wanted to get funding to these shelters, we realized that it's harder to raise money when you're saying we're raising money for this rescue, or this shelter. But it's if you put a face to it, meaning if we sponsored specific animals, that's different. As Aaron was saying, like having 7 kittens whose mother had been hit by a car, and they needed housing, they needed food, they needed supplies, they needed spay and neuter. Um, by being able to sponsor specific animals, it made it that our team actually felt like they were hands on getting to be animal rescuers, not just fundraisers. Um, and another fun thing was our stream team got to name all of them, which was a very cute
Oh,
debate.
It was so cute.
So yeah, we want I know with Pause Your Game, with the pledge program, we really do want people to feel like they're involved in animal rescue. They're not just a charity streamer, and they're not just a charity fundraiser. They're not just, not lowering it, but they're not just doing incentives to get money, but they're actually impacting specific animal lives. Um, so that's a big thing. And then the Foster to Win program, even though I go by beta, it's currently in beta. And what it is right now we have one foster home that we're currently working with, but that one foster home has produced 18, like has been able to house 18 different animals. The goal for that is to start with our stream team, see who we can get interested in it, and then try to pair up and build our shelter network to work with a shelter that's close to them. Um, to go with that, though, we are trying to add some educational processes to it because there's several different types of fostering. There's short term, there's long term, there's hospice fostering. Sometimes even just with with the case of like bottle babies or something like that, just taking them for a couple days until another foster is able to take them. I mean that does save lives. Um, so we're trying to create an educational course to really launch that and also get some funding so that we can make care packages that are going to include crates and bedding and food. We want to try and take some of the pressure off of these rescues and shelters and off of the individual fosters so that when they do it, they're having a rewarding and enjoyable experience and they're not feeling overwhelmed or burdened. So those are
I
those
love
two
that.
programs.
Thank you. And you were touching base on, how to foster these animals. Can you give us more detail on each way you can do that? The ones you mentioned?
Absolutely. So for me, when I fostered, because I have 4 cats and 2 dogs, the easiest thing for me to foster is bottle babies. Bottle babies are generally they're kittens that aren't weaned from the mother. They don't have a mother, so you have to bottle feed them. If they're like a day old, then you have to do it every hour, and you also have to stimulate them to poop and pee. It's very fun. It's very motherly. The maternalness really does kick in.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, so, like, for me, I could do that for, say, a week, and then there might be someone who's available to take them over, and so that would just be a temporary foster, very short-term fostering. For long-term fosters, that's like committing to, say, a dog was on the at-risk list, you wanna pull it. However, the rescue doesn't have any other fosters, and you're like, "Well, I'll foster it." Well, you may have to foster that animal until they find an adopter. So that could be anywhere from a week to 6 months. That would be a long-term foster. And then a hospice foster is what Josh did with Gina. So it's an animal that is dealing with a grave medical condition, that isn't in pain, and just needs a home to live out the rest of its life.
Oh, wow. Okay, I learned so much in just 3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, because I don't know about any of this, and I'm sure chat is very, very grateful for all your knowledge. So thank you so much, all of you, for giving us the knowledge, because I don't know anything about it. So thank you. Now, I really want to foster now. Oh my gosh. Once I get a house and
We
have
can
enough
help
Do
you
space.
with
it. We can
this.
Yeah,
help you
we can.
out.
We
We
Yeah.
will
can hook
help
you
you.
Oh,
up.
Hmm.
I I wouldn't think you could, Yes. Okay, that's so awesome. You know, um, say there are people that do need help with that. Can people, donors and everything, can they reach out to a certain team with Pause Your Game to get help with that or
Yeah,
no?
right now you could just reach out to Josh or I. We're the
Hmm.
ones still developing the program.
Mhm.
So if you get in contact with us, we'll start to work with it. Yeah, we don't
Awesome.
want to turn anyone away that's interested in doing it right now, even though
Yeah.
we haven't fully opened the program to being like,
Mhm.
let's take applicants. Because right now
Yeah.
we're literally a team of 5 people with a few additional volunteers, and they're amazing and wonderful. But again, we're like a team of 5 people.
And now that we're touching base on volunteers, I wanted to ask, how can people come and volunteer and help out Pause Your Game outside of fundraising?
I would say definitely keep an eye on our socials. We're Pause Your Game everywhere except Twitch. We're Pause Your Game org on Twitch. But everywhere else, we're Pause Your Game. And we post, like we have, I think, 3 applications out right now for different volunteer positions that we're trying to fill. You can join our community Discord. We post in there a lot. We also post our fundraisers in there as well for anyone that's interested, whether they're on the stream team or not. Um, Plus, we also work with shelters and rescues that we've been in contact with. We share some of the, I know on Instagram, we share some of the currently adoptable animals, and we will work to try to get you in contact if you're interested in helping one of those. If you want to get in contact with a shelter or rescue near you, we will do our best to assist you in that and make sure that you can get involved. You don't have to just be going to your nearest shelter and scooping poop. You can share on social for both charities like us or shelters and rescues. Or you can, like Beta was saying, you can foster. Um, and then you can also like just educate yourselves on. I know I'm currently working on doing some animal behavior stuff for Pause Your Game to post like in our Discord and stuff for when anyone needs it, because I know lots of people need that knowledge. Um, and then you can just also donate through our Tiltify and support our ambassadors when they fundraise, or anyone that fundraises for us, of course.
Thank you, thank you. And when you do click Pause Your Game Tiltify link chat, you can go to their website there as well and find out any other information that you need. And of course, you can drop questions in chat since we have everyone here. We can answer those for you as well. So if you have any questions that are piling up on you, drop them in chat and we'll get to them. And you know, we're talking about creator fundraising and all that good stuff. I don't know if we touched on it, Aaron, but how do you resonate with Pause Your Game and why do you directly fundraise for them specifically?
Honestly, it's because I've always been a cat lady. I'm gonna let this shirt talk for itself. I've always been a cat lady. I grew up with a cat and a dog, and Cats was my favorite musical, first musical I ever saw in real life. My favorite musical of all time. My mom's a cat lady. Like we lived that cat lady life. And kind of throwing back to what I said earlier, like growing up in a certain way makes you realize like, oh my gosh, there's so many animals that they literally don't have a voice. Nobody's advocating for them. And so that was really as soon as I realized that as a young adult, I adopted 2 rescue babies in 2011, and one of them is still with me. One of them unfortunately passed away 2 years ago to congestive heart failure. But they were 2 brother kittens that were rescued from a hoarding situation, and I took them in, and it's kind of a different. And so I would have been 22 when I took them in, and that's kind of young. In my opinion, that's kind of young. You don't really understand the weight of that situation. Like they tell you, okay, these cats have this dietary issue and they have these anxiety issues. So be on the lookout for all these things. And as a 22-year-old, you're like, okay, I'll figure it out. And so yeah, like and so I didn't really understand, and I've been very, very lucky because up until um Gus, who passed away a couple years ago, they were very, very healthy. They up for their first 7, 8 years of their lives, very normal. Even socially they assimilated to being relatively normal cats with no obvious anxiety issues, no actual other health issues. you know. So just knowing that I can advocate for something that matters to me in this way that isn't a human who, you know what I mean? Like, just animals don't have the voice, and that's where the heart of it is for me, is that I just deeply love them so much, and unfortunately, as an adult, I've never been able to foster because I live in a condo. It's a complicated situation. Like, maybe one day when I own a home, but, like, unfortunately, I can never do that. So all I can do is house, you know, um rescue animals while I can. But that's the biggest reason for me, is, like I said, just giving them a voice. They don't have one.
Yeah, and I know you use the language, "All I can do," but you're doing a lot. You're you're making a huge impact, and I'm sure the entire staff of Posture Game can say that. You're making an impact, and you better know it. You better know it, Aaron. Okay?
I
Not
do. I
don't
do.
use that language, "All I can do." You're doing it, and, they're so appreciative to have you, and I know they are, and, the Tiltify team, we're appreciative to have you a part of our community and using our platform, so we thank you so much for using your online platform to do good. That's
Thank you.
our mission of Tiltify, and I just love these conversations. I get to chat with cool people, and you're so cool. Thank you for being here.
Me?
I love hearing all about you and your story. Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure Matt can agree. And, now we're on a topic of fundraising on Tiltify. I wanted to ask you, how has your experience been using our platform, and how do you like it?
Me specifically. I didn't know if you were still on me or not.
Well, I'm on you, and we can ask our charity folks too.
I honestly, I will say that, when I first started using Tiltify, it was a little rough for me to figure it out. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie about
Oh,
this.
you
It's
can't
just
know.
I know, I can't lie. I'm not gonna lie. But it was a little difficult for me to kind of figure it out the back end, but once you have it figured out, it kind of you figure it out. And I just love that it is a way for people to it's like this one stop. Once you make a campaign, you have this one-stop profile for yourself. And so I kind of love that it shows all the milestones and all the things, and it helps people kind of visualize what you're doing as a whole, because you can only say so much as a streamer. You can only repeat your incentives so much. You can only repeat your milestones so much. It gets boring, and I'm just over it. So you have this one page profile where you can see all those things. And that's honestly my favorite thing about using it, is it's just easy to show people what you're doing on a grand scheme of things.
Okay, thank you. I'm I want to ask, what was the most difficult? Because somebody else could be having that same difficulty, and I
I
could.
have I have made a couple tutorials for people in my day. The honest truth is I really dislike that you can't test the overlay in OBS. I cannot stand that. I am a tester. I wanna know all my shit's working. Oops, I'm sorry for the language. I wanna know that my stuff is working. And so that is, like, the number one thing. I wish that you could test it. And honestly, what was the other thing? There were 2 bigger things. Oh, that there are things you can't change after the first page. You can't change the URL, and you can't change you can't add a team after you've created it, even in, like, draft mode.
um,
And those things kind of caused me some interesting problems. I, named my first Beta knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I named one of my first, campaigns, like, as a joke. I named it something that I didn't think was gonna be the final name, but
oh,
then you can't go back and change the URL even before you publish it. So or at yeah, before you publish it.
It
So my URL was like, and I was sending it to, like, Trisha's parents because they wanted to donate, and I was, like, mortified because I
uh,
didn't know you can't change your
Oh
URL. So
no.
that's honestly, yes, rip.
it was
I
a
just
spay and neuter, just to give everyone in chat an idea. It was the fundraiser was for spay and neuter.
yes.
I didn't know this. That's
Yeah.
It
Just take
was
hilarious.
it
it
where you
was it
think.
was pretty funny.
Do you
Yeah.
I know I was gonna say, so we ran up the title up the
We
chain.
both
Beta was
did.
like, "I think that this is okay, but maybe it's not." And so when we decided it wasn't okay, I was like, "Oh my god, I
We
can't change
couldn't
the
change
URL.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my
I have
god, I
a I
can't
have a
change the
very
URL."
dark sense of humor, so when they came to me, I was like, "I'm fine with it, but our audience might not be, so let's just let's snip that. No
So
pun
th
intended.
No pun intended
Yeah.
there.
but then my donate link in the chat for, like, the command and the timer, I couldn't change it. So anyway, those are things I
You
tell people now when I'm
yeah.
making tutorials for people on how to set up campaigns. I was like, "Don't forget your team and don't mess up your URL because you cannot change it." And those are things that would might be helpful in the future.
We'll take that feedback because
She did make her goal though, so I'm
I
just
did.
Why do I
saying.
feel like this is the most on brand thing for like our little group of people though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're
love it.
pretty
I love
sassy when not on front page.
Ooh.
definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I guess you could have hit the URL with, the bit.ly. Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess
I
it was
think it was
funnier
my
that way. It
yeah,
was
and it
funnier
was,
that
like, my first time using it, so I was like I didn't
way.
wanna shorten it, I actually wanted people to in my community to start
Yeah.
understanding what Twitch or, what Tiltify is, so I didn't wanna unbrand it from Tiltify. Choices were made. It's fine.
We learn, we live and we learn. But we'll
Exactly.
definitely take that feedback because that was important. I mean,
Thanks.
it's very important to do.
Uh,
Oh my gosh, I am really giggling right now. Well, I'm glad you hit your goal and
thanks.
you still did some good, even with the
I
good.
did.
But thank you again so for using our platform. And we're always improving every day, always working on something new. So we'll definitely take that feedback. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wanted to we're kind of closing up on time. We're getting close. I don't want to stop talking to you all. It's so fun. But, you know, can you tell us a little bit more about the stream team and the goals you have for the stream team if you can talk about it so I can tell folks to apply?
Yes, of course. So, like I said, we have the applications up 24/7 right now, and we review them on a monthly basis. And I gave you the link for that. Um, Anyone that's a streamer, we encourage you to apply. We do have some certain thresholds for who we are trying to accept, simply for reasons of we're trying to approach some bigger brands so that we can support our stream team ambassadors in that way. But anyone can fundraise again by joining our community Discord, and we connect you with the same setups for fundraisers and everything that you need if you want to fundraise. For our stream team, also Beta can tackle on this. We have some coaching and courses coming up that have been in the works and are super exciting.
Yes.
Ooh.
We partnered with Ashley Christ, who is a partnered YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and she created Stream Coach Academy. So she has a whole course that helps educate streamers on how to find their brand, be better, grow, actually create a business out of content creation. We were very lucky that she donated her time, and we're currently working on a course that's going to go through advocacy, activism, and charity fundraising. So it's going to be a full breakdown of basically turning our streamers into confident fundraisers as well as confident advocates, so that when if someone comes in their chat and asks a question about, well, why should I spay and neuter my animal, they'll be able to speak to it. um it's really exciting. We're very, very happy for that. With the other things that we're doing with the stream team, we're trying to pair up with a couple other stream teams to do collabs. There's so many amazing groups out there that want to get involved. And we just want to, I know for me personally, I want to uplift all of our streamers. I want them to get to where they want to go. If this is what they want as their career, we want to be able to help them, because the more that we help them, the more animals they help in return.
Wow, that's exciting. Oh, wow. And Ashley's really good at all that. So that's definitely going to help with those, the coaching and everything. And I love the initiative of what you're all cultivating here with the stream team and everything. That is so amazing. And I encourage you all to apply if this fits you. Okay, we have the application link in chat. Click it, and join their Discord as well. There's the link right there. Thank you, Mocha. Thank you, thank you. And, I just want to thank you all so much again for chatting with me. This was so
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you for
And
having us.
Cool.
Thank
Of
you.
course. And it was a pleasure meeting you all. And I know we had some questions here in chat. Uh, Give me one moment. And if there's any other questions, you can drop them here in chat. Unfortunately, bits do not go to fundraising. You have to donate directly through Tiltify for all that fundraising to go through to the organization. And yes, join our Discord. Join the Discord.
Yes, please. We post everything in there.
And we have a separate streamer Discord too. So we made one
Yes.
just for our ambassadors because we want them to get to know each other. You
Mhm.
know,
I
to
love
do
that.
collaborations together, to have fun, to share
It's all
pictures
about
of their
community.
pets.
Yes, all about community. And we had Day say any other ways your viewers can help your cause. I was not paid to softball questions, I promise.
I believe Emma kind of touched on this, but yeah, if
Yeah.
you amplifying our voice through social media absolutely is helpful. We're going to be making some pretty killer merch soon.
Oh
So,
yeah.
you know, snag
Oh,
some of our merch when we get that launch out. And then yeah,
Support our
just
ambassadors, support our
yeah, watch
socials.
our ambassadors.
It goes,
Host them.
yeah, it
Anything.
goes way further than you realize, honestly. Because if you support one of our fundraisers or one of our ambassadors, or you support our socials, that gets it in front of more people. It triggers any algorithm for whatever site it's on, puts it in front of more faces, gets it more
you
interaction,
guys.
more opportunities for us to fundraise and get the money we need to help those animals, and also just more education for the general public when we are posting stuff like that as well.
Yes, supporting on social is super important. A simple like, retweet, or comment goes so far.
It's the easiest way you can help that's free.
Yes, yes. Free 99. That's what I call it. But yes, merch. I'm all for merch. Creators and viewers, I don't know what it is about merch, but we love it. We will jump on it. You know, if you're giving away an Xbox, cool. If you're giving away merch, yes, yes, I want it. I want it.
Yes.
You know? So that's awesome. I can't wait to see all of that. And we don't have any questions in chat, so we are all set. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you want to fundraise for Pause Your Game, or check out any creators that are fundraising, you can go to their Tiltify page. And if you want to apply to be an ambassador, there is the link in chat as well. And again, thank you, Emma, Josh, Beta, and Aaron. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
It's been
Of
great.
course. We're going to send the love over to another community member. Urban Bohemian is streaming Haven Park. Looks pretty fun. We're going to go send some love over to them. And I do have a raid message. Y'all, I made the command finally. I made the command. So you can all copy that message that I just posted in chat, and you can spam it at Urban Bohemian's channel and send some love over to them. All right. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure you are following the Tiltify channel that you are watching right now, and keep up with our Twitch schedule for any other future talks. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Thank you.